There is an entire chapter in the Bible called Hebrews 1 that is dedicated to telling us that Jesus is not an angel, that Jesus is infinitely above the angels, and that angels were created to be ministering spirits to the heirs of salvation. Regardless of what form Jesus may have taken, or the pre-incarnate Christ, rather, in the Old Testament may have taken, whether it was the angel of the Lord, whether it was one of the men who visited Abram right before Lot was rescued from Sodom in Genesis 18:19, whether it was a burning bush, whether it was descending in smoke and fire upon Mount Sinai, regardless of the form or fashion that God visited men in the Old Testament, when Jesus came in the New Testament, he was born a man for the express purpose of redeeming mankind. And he will never take any form other than a glorified man in the future. That was the deal, that when the Son came in the flesh, he was locked into a form. For this reason, it is important to understand in the book of Revelation, there are 3 pieces of imagery that tell us that the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament is the glorified Christ in the New Testament. We learned this from Revelation 1, which tells us that the revelation was given to John by the Lord's angel. And yet, in Revelation 4, it becomes very clear that Jesus himself is giving the revelation to John. Revelation 2 and 3, Jesus is giving him the words. They're all red letter. And in Revelation 4, Jesus calls John up hither so that Jesus can show John the things which shall be hereafter. In Revelation 22, he reaffirms this statement and says, I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. Who testified these things to the churches? Jesus himself. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. The most impactful piece of Revelation, which tells us that the Lord's angel was the pre-incarnate Christ in the Old Testament and is the glorified Christ in the New Testament, is Revelation 10. I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven clothed with a cloud. This is the Old Testament angel of the Lord that led Israel by day as a pillar of cloud in Exodus 13 and as a pillar of fire by night. The bulk of Revelation is going to include imagery that goes back to the Old Testament, because Revelation is a book of prophecy that was written for people who will be going through a period of time that will lead them to Christ. So the majority of the imagery contained in the book, lending toward the events we will not be here for, is going to be hinged back on the Old Testament. Most of the imagery in Revelation goes back to the Old Testament. And the angel of the Lord / the Lord's angel is the pre-incarnate Christ in the Old Testament, who was born as a man for the express purpose of redeeming mankind. And in Revelation 10, it is previewing the angel which shall speak those very words. The promise that the prophecy speaking those very words will be given at the sounding of the 7th trumpet is stated by Jesus and sworn upon by himself as the ultimate arbiter of truth. I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven clothed with a cloud. Like I said, this is the Old Testament theophany, Christophany, the pre-incarnate Christ. I guess it would be the theophany. It is the appearance of Jesus in the Old Testament, the Old Testament angel of the Lord. A rainbow was upon his head. That's Revelation 4, the rainbow round about the throne in sight like unto an emerald. His face was as it were the sun. That is the glorified Christ from Revelation 1. His feet as pillars of fire, also from Revelation 1, as if they burned in a furnace. He had in his hand a little book open. That's Revelation 5. The only one worthy to open the book and to look thereon is the Lamb. He set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot upon the earth. This is one of the important pieces of imagery related to the beast and the false prophet. I have this little diagram thing here, little, very, very simple, and I don't have a light on, so you probably can't see it very well, but I just started drawing this. The OT angel of the Lord is Jesus, Revelation 1 and 22 here in Revelation 10, and also the Lion of the tribe of Judah, because we're going to hear that he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. So this is Jesus. This mighty angel, this angel of the Lord from Revelation 1, 10, and 22 is Jesus. All of the substantive imagery given, all of the correlating imagery given in this chapter is telling us it's Jesus. And he's standing on the sea and the earth. Why is that important? Because he's about to prophesy about what's going to happen at the sounding of the seventh trumpet. One of the things that happens at the sounding of the seventh trumpet is the abomination of desolation. And that is committed by the beast who rises up out of the sea in trumpet 6. Also amidst trumpet 7 is the second beast rising up out of the earth. Before either beast rises, one from the sea and one from the earth, Jesus is seen standing foot upon both, declaring sovereignty and dominion over not only the earth and the sea, meaning the whole of the earth itself, but from the people who will rise up out of either of those places. He cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. When the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered and write them not. The angel, that's the mighty angel, Jesus, the pre-incarnate Christ from the Old Testament, the angel of the Lord, which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth, lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created the heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which therein are, that there should be time no longer. Jesus is creator of the whole world, including the earth and the sea. He has sovereignty and dominion over both. But the reason that this is placed where it is to tell you that he has sovereignty and dominion over the two entities that will rise from each of those places. The beast rising up out of the sea, and the second beast rising up out of the earth. Not only that, we are specifically told that he is swearing by him that created the heaven, the earth, the sea, and the things that therein are. And in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath revealed to his servants the prophets. The mystery of God is that the one that Jesus is swearing by is himself, the creator. The angel, which finishes or reveals the mystery of God worldwide, Revelation 14, 6, and 7, saw another angel fly through the midst of the heaven, having the everlasting gospel, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, to every nation and people and kindred and tongue, saying, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven, the earth, the sea, and the fountains of waters. Jesus is creator of the entire world, has dominion over the entire world, including the two places, earth and sea, where beast 1 and beast 2 will rise up from. And said sovereignty and dominion over both is being declared before they rise out of those places, the first of which we will see in Revelation 11, and the second of which we will see in Revelation 13.